Hi folks, Chef Rick here at Chef Tips UK. Today we're going to be doing a baked New York cheesecake. Really nice cheesecake dish this is. One of my personal favourites. A little bit more complicated than the last cheesecake I did. Because we're going to bake this. So I've got the oven on gas mark 5. So about 180, 170, something like that. I'm going to bake it for about 40 minutes. So let's just get straight down to it. I'll talk you through these ingredients as I'm using it. First things first, 200 grams of digestive biscuits. I've just blitzed these up like I did in my last video, just with a food processor. If you don't have one, get a rolling pin in a bowl like this, bash them. So 200 grams of digestive biscuits in. I've got 50 grams of melted butter in. And then all we're going to do with that is just stir it. So I've just got a little spatula here and I'm literally just going to incorporate the butter with the biscuit. Really easy. And you should end up with this sort of buttery biscuit base. So then all we're going to do is I've got a nice new little cheesecake mould here. I'm quite liking it. A nice little drip tray there. I think it's going to be a good one. I've not done anything with it. Just going to leave it like that. It's a nice non-stick one. I'm putting a lot of trust into that. So then all we're going to do is bang that straight in there. And then once that's in there, I mean, I don't know how well can you see this, I don't know. All we're going to do, that's what the spatula is good for, like this, is we're just going to bash it in. Try and make it as smooth and as even as possible. Don't take long. Boom, biscuit base, done. Should look something like that after you've done it. Just go bang this in the fridge for a bit. Right, so after we've got the biscuit base in the fridge, we're going to make our cheesecake mix. Slightly different to the last one I did. We've got 600 grams of mascarpone cheese. You can use regular soft cheese, but you kind of have to add a bit more sugar, as this is not very salty at all compared to cream cheese. 600 grams of that in. We've got 200 grams of creme fraiche. It's just going to add a little sour note to it. Really nice. Bang, straight in. This mixture, all we're doing is pretty much just adding everything together and mixing it up. It's as simple as that. I've got 200 grams of caster sugar here. I've actually got some vanilla infused caster sugar here. I got the stalks from the vanilla pods. I talked about it in my panna cotta video, and I left them in some caster sugar. You can use standard caster sugar, but give that smell and just this really nice vanilla-y fragrance to it. Add a little bit more vanilla in it. There you go. So then all we're going to do is just give that a little mix up. One thing I forgot to mention, the cream cheese, I'd left it out at room temperature, so it's quite sort of, well, on a day like this, quite almost getting warm. It makes it so much easier when you're mixing it up. It saves your elbows lots. Right, so I've been whisking this for about a minute, and as you can see, it's all come together. But it's really nice. Probably don't splash it all over your kitchen, but it's really nice thick batter at the minute. All I'm going to do is zest a bit of lemon into this, just to give it a nice little hint of lemon. And it works really well with cheesecake. So I've just roughly done the zest of like 1 lemon. Just, if you use something like this, just make sure, try and get as much out of it as possible. There's a little stick in there. And then all I'm going to do is put a bit of juice in there as well. Right, so juicing a lemon. So many different ways to do it. I'm going to go for quite a little cheaty way. I'm just going to sort of take a little wedge there off, get them seeds and just give them a little rub at, and then straight in there. That'll be enough. So then, back to this. So then, back to this. We're just going to whisk in that lemon. I've got some vanilla paste here. You can use the seeds from an actual vanilla pod. I'd use 2 vanilla pods if you're going to do it that way. I just really love this sort of vanilla bean paste. I think it's really handy. So all I'm going to do is just squirt about 2 teaspoons worth into there. Just, if you do buy vanilla bean paste, just check on it. This one I've got says use 1 teaspoon as substitute for a vanilla pod. So that's all I'm doing. And then we're just going to whisk that in. Now, coming to the end, I've got in here, I've got 3 egg yolks and then 1 whole egg. So you're only using 1 whole egg and then 3 yolks. So just discard the other 3 whites. Straight in there. And then we're just going to whisk that in. Starting off slowly so it don't splash everywhere. And then by this point, you've got this really nice, smooth, lovely batter. And you want it to be smooth. You don't really want to see any lumps or anything in it. I've got 1.5 tablespoons of plain flour here. This is just going to help bind it together, thicken it up a bit, and stop it from splitting. So we're then just going to whisk that in slowly to start, just so it don't go everywhere, and then whisk that. Right, so once you've been whisked that for about 2 minutes, you should notice it's a bit thicker now. The flour's sort of thickened it up a bit, just like that. That's perfect. That's just what we want. Right, so take our biscuit base, that's just been chilling in the fridge. Chilling in the fridge. Oh no, I'm good at all. Right, and then all we're going to do is just spoon that into the tin. Get a spatula, just rub it round a little bit, just so it's a bit even. The good thing about using a spatula is you can really get all the bowl, really get all that filling in there. So your girlfriend who's patiently recording all these videos for you doesn't get any. I'm going to leave her a bit. I'll be nice. So right, we've smoothed that out. Any splashes like this, they will just burn. So I'm just going to sort of take my finger, rub that and just sort of wipe them off, just because I'm a bit funny about stuff like that. So I've got my oven, this has come up to temperature, like I said, gas mark 5, and I'm just going to bang that in there for about 40 minutes. I'll check it after 30, but I reckon it'll be about 40. Right, so this cheesecake's been in the oven for about 40 minutes now. If you come down here and have a look, still got a little bit of wobble in it. All we're going to do is put that back in the oven, turn the oven off, and we're just going to leave it for about an hour or 2, just till the oven's gone really cold. Well, obviously we won't get just to sort of finish cooking. It'll just like finish cooking in the oven. So we'll come back in a few hours. Right, so we're back here after a couple of hours. The cheesecake's literally just been sat in this oven, the oven's been off, and it just helps it, like, you know, turn out really nicely. So I'll take that out. It's looking beautiful. I mean, get a good look at that. It looks really nice. I mean, you can see that's set perfectly. It's set like that. But obviously we're going to chill it down. We want it to be like really cold when we eat it. Because this is a New York cheesecake, how I like to finish them is with like this really nice, simple, lemony, vanilla-y cream cheese topping. Right, so all I've got here is I think it was about 100 millilitres of creme fraiche left over from the creme fraiche, and I had 150 grams of mascarpone left, and I just put it all in the same tub together because I knew I was going to be using it. So all I'm going to do is get that in a bowl. I'm not even going to weigh it out, I'm just going to add a squidge, probably about 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste to it, and we're going to add the zest of a lemon. Once you've zested the lemon, just going to take a knife, cut it in half diagonally. I think it just helps you get a better squeeze on it. Just squeeze it over your hands, just so you catch all them pips. So literally, as you can see there, I've caught all the pips and all the juice is gone into the thing. There's still a little bit of juice in my hands. Obviously, just make sure your hands are really clean when you do this. And then the next lemon, squeeze it. So you've got the juice of 1 lemon and the zest of 1 lemon in there, and hopefully no pips. Right, so I did get a pip in there after all. Nightmare. If you do get a pip in, just pick it out, and then all we're going to do is just give this a little stir. Just be gentle at first, otherwise it will just splash everywhere. And then I'm just going to take my little pot here, which I've got my vanilla stalks in, and I'm literally, I'm not even measuring anything out. I'm just going to go about 2 spoons, and obviously that's just some really nice vanilla fragranced sugar there. It just helps give it a little bit more vanilla in it. And we're just whisking it up, and we'll just sort of, it's very similar to sort of like a cheesecake itself. So I'm just going to give this a little try. A little bit more sugar. So that's about 3 spoons of sugar in there now. Just going to give it a stir up again. Don't really need whisking now. It's all been whisked in. It's all a nice consistency. Give it another try. Spot on. Right, so all we're going to do is we're just going to top our cheesecake with this. So literally just spoon it on, move it around. I don't know if you can get a good view of that from here. Lovely, just like that. It should look something similar to this. I mean, I don't know if you can get a good look at that. Really nice. All we're going to do now is just wrap that up, leave it in the fridge, ideally overnight, maybe 3 to 4 hours, depending on how good your fridge is. Personally, I like to go overnight. So obviously, if you're going to make it the day before you need it, and that'll be spot on. And then you ain't got to worry about dessert on the night time, have you? Because it's already made. Right, so we're back here. I've left it overnight, the cheesecake, and it's looking lovely. Look at that. It looks beautiful. So to take it out, we're going to test this non-stickiness. It should just, yeah, lift up. Nice non-stick tin, look. Just lift it up nicely. So all I'm going to do is take a knife, and I'm just going to slide it underneath, and hopefully it'll come straight off. Boom, as simple as that. All I've got in here is just some hot water from the kettle, just to make slicing it a bit easier. So, oh, I can't wait to try this. Really can't wait. It's all I've been thinking about all day. So just having a hot knife will just it'll help even the edges up and it'll cut a bit nicer. Look at that. I mean, that just looks beautiful, don't it? Right, so there's only one thing left to do really. You've got to tuck in, ain't you? Oh, that is so nice. Really nice buttery biscuit base. The actual cheesecake itself is really soft and creamy. You've got that lovely little lemony vanilla topping. Mmm. That's probably one of the nicest cheesecakes I've ever made. Well, definitely try this one out yourself. Like I said, just make it a day before you need it and you ain't got to worry about it then. Just get a good bit in the fridge overnight and it'll be sound. Try it out, let me know how you get on. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, it really helps us out. We're now on Twitter, we're now on Facebook, just search Chef Tips UK for them. And until next time, keep on chefing.